How exciting is this? I'm so pumped. I've seen how you guys have been journeying on with Commons. It's a fresh partnership, but not really because you guys are fam, you're friends already.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what and who Commons are?
Yeah, well, like you said, I mean, it really is kind of just putting a little bit of structure around something that we've been doing for years, and that is writing together, collaborating together, and bringing other people in our world into that process. And the fruit of that over a lot of years has been songs that we love, that we've seen, God do more with than we ever dreamt was possible.
Yeah.
And so we, a couple of years ago, sat down and were like, what do we want to do next? There was some big transition in our lives, and we were kind of like, we want to keep doing what we've always been passionate about doing, and that is writing songs that help people worship and help the church sing. And so we talked about, like, do we put out, like, solo projects? And we kind of both felt like we have for a lot of years that we've got this sort of common passion, pun not intended, for congregational songs that help the church sing. And so we were like, well, let's create something where we can. It's not just about any of us individually, but it's a space where we can bring people in and release new music, but also release new people that are gifted to write songs for the church, and worship leaders to create a space for others as well.
That's awesome. So it's not just the two of you, it's actually opening it up.
Collaborative.
It's
Yeah.
collaborative.
Yeah. Yeah, but really it's songs for church. It's
That's cool.
an experience of worship.
You've said common several times, and I got to ask, what does the X mean?
Yeah. So the X simply is Christ, or the cross. We have the cross, we have Christ in common. And if you dig a little bit deeper, it is the Greek symbol for Christ.
Yeah.
And so we love the idea of that, like worship. We've seen it, for years, like that, across the church, there's lots of different things that divide us, and there's lots of differences. But one thing that we all believe is in the centrality of Christ. And so often the songs that we sing across the church are the same songs.
Yeah.
So worship has this unique ability to unify the church.
Yeah.
And, we're ultimately unified around Christ. And if you read Revelation, for the song that heaven is singing is now a Christian song. The fact that Jesus has died, he's resurrected, has changed the worship of heaven, and it changes the worship on earth. And the Christian church, no matter what persuasion you're a part of, is singing about the centrality of Jesus, the resurrected Jesus. So it's Christ in common.
So good.
If we go right back to the very, very beginning, how did you guys meet?
It's been like, I think we've known each other probably 20 years, close to 20 years. So I think in church, we both sort of grew up in Melbourne and kind of we're sort of in similar circles in Melbourne, and then sort of up here at Hillsong Church, and just kind of, I don't know, just part of the worship team and hanging out, and just started writing together. And yeah.
Was that always on your life, writing and singing?
For me, it's something I've been doing since I was like 8. So
Wow.
yeah, since I really picked up guitar, I was just trying to write songs and come up with, different ideas and different things like that. And I think more sort of when I found the Lord and kind of discovered worship music and that experience of God through music, that I wanted to be writing worship songs.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went on from there, just became a bit of a passion.
So at what point did you find yourselves in Sydney together, and what were you doing in that space in time when you came together and started writing together then?
Well, I'd moved up to Sydney. Reuben was already up here, and he was already writing amazing songs. And I came in, and we were hanging out, and I think it was Reuben was like, "Why don't we write together one day?" Which I thought, at the time was like incredibly generous. Like, here's Reuben, who's a very established songwriter, and creating that space for me to be able to do something that I also loved. It's like Rubes, I sort of grew up playing music, and the music that moved me the most was the music that we sung in church. And so as soon as I picked up a guitar, I wanted to play those songs. And as soon as I started writing songs, I wanted to write those kind of songs. And so getting that opportunity to sit in a room with somebody who was already very seasoned was amazing. And one of the first songs we wrote was a song called Mighty to Save. And we really had that chorus and that phrase, and we knew that there was something in that. And then we spent probably a few months, like it was over the summer here in Australia. So it was kind of a mix of like watching cricket and, being outside, being at the beach, and then coming back in and just trying to work out how to put this song together. Which is a crazy journey. That was sort of the first song that we wrote together, and that song really has taken on its own life. And there's now so many stories that we have heard that have come in of people's connection with that song. And it was one of sort of those really early pictures of the fact that we've got a story about what that song means to us. But the song then goes out and does much more than we could have ever imagined. And really the beauty of that song is the stories that God has written in the lives of his people all around the world.
When you are in that writing process, do you find yourself on the same page as each other, or does it more of like a complementary, like it just continues to grow as each of you take that moment to add your piece to it?
It's really evolved over the years. I mean, even thinking, going back to that Mighty to Save story, that was kind of a unique moment because we hadn't really written together. So there's a lot of conversation about, okay, what are we going for? What do we want to, what do we want the church to be singing? What do we feel like the church needs to be singing now? So there's a lot, okay, here's an idea. Maybe here's a decent section, chorus, whatever. It was good, but it wasn't necessarily going to match what we were talking about going for. So that whole process, I think big picture, there was a learning that went on as far as collaboration, but also kind of honing what we felt like was right for the church now as well. And in a lot of ways, those same principles kind of still apply, but I mean, it has evolved a lot. We've written a lot of songs in this room over the last year or so, and different people come in and whatever. It changes, and it changes depending on the day as well.
You're talking about collaboration and with each other, but then also Commons is now opening that up to a wider, amazing variety of people. Should collaboration be like, should we be scared of it, or should we actually embrace it? What are the benefits of being a part of that whole process?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful exchange that happens when you work with somebody else. Like I love still sitting there and writing on my own, and I love the devotional aspect of kind of just digging into a scripture, researching what you want to write about. Like that's some of my favorite parts of songwriting. But when you sit in the room with somebody else, straight away, like you've got immediate feedback. And there's something that I think happens with the agreement that comes when you kind of even just talking about the theme of the song. But then, you get a different perspective, not just creatively, not just musically, but, theologically, and meaning gets added and layered. And so I think we're better when we're working with people that think a little bit differently to us, and it kind of stretches us and it causes us to create differently. And I think there's something beautiful on the other side of it because we're enriched by our differences as well. God's
Don't be
made us
afraid of it.
distinct. Don't be afraid of it, but lean into it and see, like, if you can write a song with somebody who maybe sits in a different camp or a different part of the church, if we're talking about church music, and you can find commonality and you can write something that is true for you as it is for somebody from a very different experience or background, then there's a beautiful like crossover there that I think can help a lot of people because it can help bring a lot of people together.
Many of us know you from Hillsong. Yeah, it was kind of, that's where the songs came from, that came into our homes. Tell us about what was that season like for you, because Commons is separate to that now.
It was an amazing season for me. At least it represents 28 years of my life, family.
Wow.
My kids were raised in Hillsong Church and part of the youth ministry, and I was part of the youth ministry at Hillsong Church, and so it was an incredible season. The tours, the albums, just some of the most incredible moments in worship, and seeing those ministries just go out and seeing what God was doing. Truly revival, truly unique experiences, right? Like
Really unique.
Really, really special. And thank God for them. Thank God for all of that. Thank God for the discipleship, for the learns, the good times, the hard times, the highs and the lows, all of it. But it was a season, and this is a new season.
Yes.
And and grateful for the new, and at least for my life and a lot of the friends around us, it is a new season and a new day, and new initiatives and new things are happening, and that's exciting times as well. Really exciting times.
What I love about God is that within the seasons, there's all these things that we need to learn. We have the challenges that make us grow. And then when he's done, then he moves us on to the next thing.
Yeah.
There's been conversation, like messages, the social media, all the people are like, when is this going to happen again? Or when's Hillsong going to have more collaborations again with you guys? I was thinking of the whole thought of nostalgia, because I definitely can think back to the days when 25, 26 years ago when I started at Hillsong, and I can go, oh, I remember when, and can we do that again? And there's beauty and purity in that thought and feeling.
Yeah.
But if I stay there, is there danger in me losing what God's actually doing ahead of us?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because Christ is leading us forward, isn't it? Yes. We're called to follow him, not into the past, but into the future. And so I think we're called to be grateful and honor the past, and be honest about the past, all of that, and keep moving forward. Yeah.
And I think, you can be grateful for the good, and you can reflect on the stuff that was challenging, the stuff that you need to move beyond. And I think that there is something really important about the distillation process of going, what was it that was at the heart of what was good?
Right.
And I think about the people, I think about the relationships. I'm incredibly grateful for lifelong friendships that came out of that season, and also songs that we got to be a part of, and to watch the music go and really do some incredible things, not just in our nation of Australia, but like right around the world. I mean, who would have seen that coming? But at the heart of it was like this passion from the people that were involved to see Christ glorified, to see Christ made great and his name made great. And there was an incredible purity about that. And there was a simplicity at that point. And I think that everything that was good flowed out of that place. And I reflect on it and I go, we were all committed to celebrating the name of Christ, and all the other names kind of, come and go. And but his name and what it is that he's building surpasses all time. And, I kind of think about then what the future holds, and it's more of that. It's more of the same, and it's going to look different. And I respect the question about nostalgia, because I'm drawn to it too. I'm like, it'd just be so nice if everything was kind of the same way, but I just don't think that's how life goes. And I think the fruit comes when we can actually embrace new, and we can embrace the thing that is in front of us, and do it like, we're really committed to not kind of doing it with any sense of kind of trying to look back or any bitterness. We want to move forward, focus on what is good, what is of God, and let's get our mind and our attention on those things, and knowing and trusting with hope that there is much more ahead than what's behind.
It's really good. I keep thinking about the whole way along, we were so focused on what's next, in that season. New songs, bringing a song to the church, bringing a song that will help people engage with God and like get to know him and grow deeper in their relationship with God. As a team, that's what we're all about. We're writing songs for that.
Yes.
So not songs for the global church, but songs for people that we knew, a congregation that we did life with week in and week out. And as a team, and the ministries that sort of came out of that team, even the tours and everything, that was the goal.
Yes.
Is that we want people to worship. We want to help people connect with the Lord. We want to build something here, be part of building the kingdom together. And whether it's under the Hillsong banner or a new banner, that mission is still the same. Let's continue to create songs that will help people worship, create spaces that will help people engage with the Lord and grow closer into their relationship with God. And let's keep going. New songs for a new season.
Come on.
We talked about the nostalgia, and then you've just touched on the future. And what I love about all of that is it's reflective of seasons. But for people who are navigating this thing called life, and seasons come and go. How do we stay present to what God's doing now, so when the transition to move into something new comes, it has much more ease? Because I'm sure that you guys have had season changes that haven't been easy. And sometimes they probably came with an ease and it happened really quickly. And suddenly you're like, oh, wow, I'm in something brand new.
Yeah.
To those who are facing that, what would you say to them about staying present in the here and now to be able to transition when the time is right?
It's tough because I think there's a lot of wisdom that's required. And I do think that we have access to a lot of wisdom in the scriptures, and we have wisdom that flows through knowledge of God and the things of God. But God gives us community as well, and He gives us church. He gives us people that we can do that with. If I think personally about some of the transition that we've had as a family, I've felt like the wisdom is to do a lot of the difficult processing in private with people that we trust, with professionals as well, and to get the help that you need. And so publicly, like, I'm sort of not very drawn into the idea of doing that for everybody to see. There's parts of that I think, you can be upfront and explain how things are now. But I think having the wisdom to know how to do that in a way that's going to keep you healthy, that's going to keep your family healthy, and that's going to keep the focus on what is good and what is of God. I think that's really important. We can so easily get drawn into particularly negative things and find ourselves making that so central that we lose. Not that it's not important to do that work, but I'm just saying to make that the main thing misses everything that God might be wanting to do beyond that as well. And so I think we can keep drawing ourselves back to the past, not just for nostalgia in the positive, but also in the negative, and never move beyond it.
Yeah.
So I think we've got to do that work if we want to be people that move forward in a way that's not denying that there's things that we've got to work through and change, and there's repentance. There's all those things that are part of our faith, but that we've got to move forward in a way that is healthy and that can see us as individuals, as a community, be in a place where we're operating from a place of health.
That's good. Yeah, I think change is obviously it's inevitable. You cannot avoid change.
Yeah.
It's happening all the time. Life goes on, right?
Yeah.
But our response to it is really, really crucial. And I think we've got to make sure that we're responding in the right ways and in process ways. Change that we have no control over is hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard to deal with, especially when you want things, you're happy with the way things were. And so there's definitely a process in that. Community, like Ben was saying, is so crucial. Community that you trust, people that you trust, mentors that you trust, and going to the Lord. Obviously, again, what Ben was saying, I think taking professional help is definitely worthwhile. Doing whatever you need to do to be able to move forward, and just make sure you're okay in it, and not. I think sometimes there would be a tendency to just want to kind of ignore, like hide under a rock. Oh, this is not happening. Change isn't happening. Stuff's not changing. Like we're going to keep it the way it was.
Because it's easier to.
Yeah. So you just pretend everything is how it was, and I don't know. Somehow it feels like maybe that's not the best way either.
I think I like what Benny was saying in regards to. I think there's wisdom in knowing the right people to put around you in those seasons of change and shifting, because it's uncomfortable. You are changing within whatever space that is, asking God for wisdom, asking for discernment, asking for the Holy Spirit to lead you. It's like so important to like consciously and verbally say those things out loud. And I think we as a humanity forget how powerful our confession is. Me in my own life, it's like you say things and then all of a sudden it happens, but it was a negative thing. And I was like, oh, wait, I shouldn't have done that. And I think in the transition from a season to a season, watching what you say is so crucial and so important, because it will set up your next season from what you confessed before. And so I believe that as we build the community around us, that'll actually cushion for lack of a better word, it'll cushion the next as you land in the next season.
That's good. You guys know what we're talking about. You've sort of
We've
done
lived
those
it.
sort of things
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
you know, and been through those kind of changes. And look at you guys are thriving. Fantastic,
is
you
very
know.
kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. The local church. Can you tell how important it is to have a firm foundational base and support? You've talked about support, but I want to just put it back right onto the local church. What has the local church meant to both of you in your journeys to be here today?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost hard to overstate like how significant it's been for my life and my faith journey. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have parents that took me along to church when I was really little. We were involved in a small Baptist church and a Baptist church plant in Melbourne, and like that was beautiful because I was watching like my parents' commitment to not just their faith but to that community of people. And my dad he was a deacon, and but he would do all kinds of things. He would do anything. He would set the chairs up. He would like, so I just go and do that with dad. And I think really early on sort of learnt the importance of not just going to church, but being a part of the community, like serving, like doing practical things that help that community. But I watched my mum and dad just have people through our house, and they were hospitable. They made time for people. They looked out for people. And I felt like as a kid, that time taught me a lot about the scriptures, taught me a lot about who God was. I actually felt like the songs that we sung taught me a lot about who God was, and I would go out of church singing them, humming the melodies, and singing these lyrics that it was only later in time I'd realized were basically just singing the Bible. Like,
beautiful.
And so as a child, it's so important. And sort of skipping forward a little bit, like every season of my life, it's felt like that being a part of a church community has been really helpful, really important, not just for me, but also what I can give back. And now watching that for my kids and seeing, just watching them sort of track that same journey, I don't think you could overstate how important it is.
It's good. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for just turning up. And
It's good. That's a word.
week in,
Turn
week
up.
out,
Yep.
when it's going well and when it isn't.
Yep.
And I know, like, I can think about the last few years, some really, like, personally challenging, like, having to work through stuff
Yeah.
in all kinds of areas. And there's something in just the habits, even when you're not feeling it. Just, I don't know, like just deciding you're going to read a psalm every day or two, or you're going to read a chapter of the Bible whatever you do, that's just that habit. And just turn up to church even when like everything in you is like, I can't, I don't want to do this. I don't want to turn up and be singing and listening to a message again, but the habit of it and hanging out with people just in church, not necessarily your circle, not necessarily even your people, but church community, for the very fact that it is spiritual discipline and we know that it's health. Those things just keep building our lives in and out of season, and I don't know, thank God for the habit.
Thank God. Thank God for it.
Yeah, and I think too, when you go through a period where some things get challenged, and it does make you work out what you value and why you value them. And so I think for me, it's been, and my family, it's been sweet to kind of come out of a difficult kind of chapter and feel like we're more resolute than ever about our faith, about what we're called to as individuals, but also as a family, and to find like our place in a local church. And so like what Reuben said, I think is really true. Like we've got to have a little bit of tenacity to go, community is not always easy. There's, when we're with people, there's going to be challenges.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes it's okay to need to make changes. I mean, I think I was at Hillsong for about 20 years. So it's not like it was a flippant thing to kind of decide that I'm just going to, bail on that community at all, but it's like there's a time and a place where you go, okay, that's actually required. And now you enter into another chapter where now we're committed to another community of people, and watching all the fruit that comes from that. Because I do believe it's true that you know, if you're planted in a community, you will see the fruit of that in your life and in the lives of the people that you're doing life with.
Okay, now we've found ourselves here at Commons. This is where you are. This is the new season that you're in. Did the songs just start writing themselves? Because there's a blend of new and nostalgic songs. How did you know where to start?
Well, I think like the mission hasn't changed at all. We are as committed as ever to writing songs that are hopefully scripturally sound. The songs carry theology, and it's really important to us to do a good job there, to make sure that if we are trying to give songs to people to sing, that it's actually enriching their own knowledge of God, and it's enriching the understanding and the perspective of a faith community. So that part of it was really simple. We're going to keep doing the same thing we've been doing for years.
Yeah.
It's just we're doing it under a different banner. And so the commitment to writing new songs has always been something we've been passionate about. I mean, I think we get that ultimately from our faith tradition, because the people of God have been singing since, you know, Exodus. Like,
Yeah.
and God doesn't stop revealing more of who he is, doesn't stop working. And so the people of God don't stop writing new songs about what it is that he's done and is doing.
New song.
So we don't get stuck in a period of time where we are just singing the songs that have always been sung. We keep writing new songs because it keeps bringing new perspective and new color. It's an ancient message. The message doesn't have to change at all.
Yeah.
But our understanding of it can. And
Right.
we bring in all of the life experience and the cultural experience, and we make that truth make sense again in a fresh way. I think that's the heart.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't feel like we're really recreating anything, because it's kind of really natural. We just, you know, sit down and write a song for church is what we've been doing for a lot of years. And that just, it would be more unnatural then to just stop. So
But there's
we
a
haven't
beauty
stopped.
with time, right? As time goes on, we mature, we learn things, we grow, we fail, we get challenged. Did you find that when you came back to this space again, that there was so much more richness in what you were kind of bringing together?
For sure. And it being a new season, you sort of, you ask questions of the new as well, you know, like what is the now, what are we going to do here? So all of that's actually been challenging and like fun as well. It's brought a new kind of new flavor to it. And, you know, obviously that's all sort of, you know, that's being discovered as well as we go. And it's just actually been really encouraging and exciting to see now churches start to sing these new songs, All the Praise Belongs and Say Amen and Doorkeeper. And it's just, it feels like good times. And, you know, thank God for what he's doing.
That's
Thank
one of
God
my
for
favorites.
the new. Yeah.
Doorkeeper. I just want to put that in there.
Like that one.
So beautiful.
One of the things that has been really awesome is to be able to collaborate really broadly. We've been writing with friends like right across different parts of the world for a lot of years now. And that, for me as a songwriter, has been one of the most enriching things, because, you know, you see and you do the process that we're very familiar with in a different way, for a different context, and it does draw something out of you that's different, and hopefully the same for the people you're working with. And it's a real celebration of that gifting that God has put on the lives of friends and people that we're meeting and going, oh, well, this is something that feels like we're kindred spirits in a sense, because we're all trying to do the same thing. And so when you can come together with that kind of synergy, I think there's something really sweet about it. And now, like it feels like we've kind of got a free kind of playing field where we can go, what do we want to do? We can work with anyone we like. We can create whatever we want to do. What is it that actually feels like our thing to add to the mix? Because, you know, we don't want to just add noise. We want to do something that really matters, and we want to know where the need is, what's missing in the broader picture, and how can we contribute something that is really going to help.
It's good.
I mean, you only know where the need is until you have the conversations
Yeah.
and you're building that community outside of what's the norm, right?
Yeah. You see it. I mean, we were sort of texting back and forth Sunday afternoon and just talking about the songs that we'd been doing in church on the weekend. It's just really, we go to different churches, but just encouraging to hear our churches sing these new songs and actually thinking in terms of, okay, what do we need as a church community now, and really bringing that to the writing context. Yeah.
I want to dive into some of the song stories. So we've seen the releases of individual songs, but what is some of the background to some of them? Like Danabelle mentioned Doorkeeper, great song. Where did it come from?
Well, we're in Nashville. We're kind of doing a few days writing, and we kind of had a day writing with this guy Corey Miller from Red Rocks Worship. And so he came in, actually hadn't met before, but love what he's been doing and what they've been doing. And so we were just hanging out, and he's the sweetest human. I don't know if you sort of follow him on socials or anything, but he's just the coolest guy. Yeah. And he comes in, and he's like right from the outset, like properly overwhelmed. Like he's like presence of God. He starts like properly like crying, right? Like what maybe. Yeah. You know, like just getting teary, you know, like it's proper like moment just straight off the bat. We're just in the hallway. And so for me, I'll always remember that day and kind of that first time hanging out with Corey, because it was just, and then going in and writing is just so natural, and the way those sort of sections came together, and those sort of scriptures coming together as well is just so sweet. And we were sort of passing around different voice memos yesterday, and we've just got that initial recording that he just sung down on the piano of that song, and it's just wild. It's so raw, but just kind of what happened in that moment was pretty cool.
Praise Belongs. What's the story about that one?
Can I just say, I love that song.
I knew you were going to jump in.
I just
Thank you.
weep. And I think that is, a lot of people resonate with that because of the lyrics, because of the, just the way you choose your words and how you write out of your relationship with Jesus and your revelation at that point. First of all, thank you. Because I know you guys write, like I said, you write out of a place of your relationship and your season in life, but know that the millions, billions of people that hear this song and will hear this song are forever changed because of the way that they can then worship God in a different way because of the way that you poured out. So thank you.
Thank you. I mean, that's very kind. And, that is the grace of God, isn't it? That he takes something that started literally here, on that couch. And, but that something that's so here and now, and then he can take it and do really personal things in the lives of people that you can't really get your mind around. Like you can't sit down and go, I would like this song to be able to do this and this and this. Yeah. But God knows his people and he knows what they need. That song to me is special because it's based on the doxology, praise God from whom all blessings flow. And our church history is full of doxologies. That's probably some of the most sung hymns are the doxologies, the ones that are very much about just who God is. And then I think about the modern kind of hymn book, and there's a lot of imminent songs of God being present here and now, and what God does in my life, in our lives, and both are really important. But this doxology, I think, which praise belongs, is felt right to me that's one of the first songs that we release is a song that is just very much about who God is. So good. And so we then find ourselves in his story, and when we experience that story for ourselves, the natural response is to do what the doxologist are inviting us to do, and it's to lift our eyes and to give worship and to give glory where it's due. But we're listening back through the writing session just the other day, and we had a different verse and chorus, and what's now the chorus was the bridge. And it's so funny now to listen through it because I actually liked the verse that we had.
It's amazing.
The chorus was, and that might be the reason it fell apart. But now when you get to the bridge, you're like, that's so obviously the chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Right,
songwriting where you don't
yes.
know at the time. You're just trying to
Right.
piece things together. And, you know, you listen back to these like little voice notes and lyrics change to the final version and you hear it and you go, why did you say that? That was never going to be the right lyric. But you're just sort of trying to
journey.
create something out
Yeah.
of nothing.
Yeah.
Totally. I want to jump to another song because I have a question about it. I'll praise you anywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere, anywhere.
Upbeat song. Love it.
Praise you anywhere.
Yeah.
When you listen to that song, are you like me where you feel like you're on the highway, you're driving in your car, the top's down? Do you feel like that as well? Because when I listen to that song, it just feels like full of joy. Like
Yeah.
I'm full of praise, I'm full of joy. It is
Yeah.
such a beautiful offering.
It's an awesome song.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I really love that song. And, you know, Brandon Lake, who obviously when you watch anything that he does, I get the same feeling that you're talking about. Like he's so full of life and
Yeah.
so full of joy. And there's an energy about what he does that's contagious. And I think that comes through in this song. But, you know, I think the theme feels like, you know, it's not being flippant about the fact that like we go through challenges in life. Like, and so the verses kind of do that. Sometimes you got to, you know, praise through the darkness.
Yeah.
You got to praise through the wilderness. You got to praise till the shackles fall. You got to, sometimes it's the praise that precedes the thing in our life, in our circumstances actually changing. But we don't praise God because of what he's going to do for us or because of what we see right in front of us, but we praise him because he's praiseworthy.
Yes.
And he was before and he will be after. And so then I love the idea of I'll praise you anywhere because it just kind of feels like that like it's just such a all-encompassing statement. No matter what's going on, no matter where I am, that's the appropriate thing to do.
So good. Manila. So Commons, Manila, live in Manila. It's a brand new project that you guys are about to release. We had a little sneak peek yesterday of the entire project. Can you tell us a little bit about the night, the team that you had with you, and what we can expect?
Pretty cool team.
Amazing team. I mean, this is one of the things that I reflect on. I'm like, we've got just some of the most talented people in our world. From everything from, you know, front of house sound to, you know, in-ears and managing touring and production and right through to then on the platform where you have Bella Taylor Smith who can just sing the house down and you Aiden who's incredible and Karina who is just this beautiful young worship leader, incredible songwriter. We brought musicians that we've worked with for years. They're all really talented and gifted in their own way. And so it felt like really we had the A team just come together for that night. And so it probably made it a lot easier than it should have been. I kept looking around just thinking, wow, how did this team of people come together?
Wow.
And then you go, well, no, I guess we've worked together for a lot of years. And so there's that sense of camaraderie, of unity, of just understanding. Like there's so many conversations you don't have to have when you've done that many years with somebody. And so it really felt like a celebration of a lot of hard work over the years, a lot of life.
Yep.
And there's an ease about it,
Yeah.
which I hope comes through when you hear it, that these are people just doing what they were created to do.
It sounded like home. Like you guys felt like home
Yeah.
for me when I watched the clips that we got to.
Yeah.
So special that you were all together.
That's cool. Yeah, because it was a group of people we're used to working with.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that we loved about it the most is that it felt like it was our people, and I think people that we're all familiar with. And so, so when you asked about like it was like riding a bike, well, it was kind of what we do, and you know, going back to whenever the last tour that we were on, you don't know that's going to be your last thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
We didn't know that, and then COVID happened, and all of those things happened. We didn't know that was about to happen, and so going back out again, kind of with that group of people, and in that context, was like, oh man, thank God, you know, because we just didn't know that this would happen, and
like
so
riding a
seeing
bike.
that, we're just like,
Yeah, totally.
thank God for it.
and felt really honored the trust that people had to come out to a night like that. It was a commons night, and people might have some awareness and knowledge of the people that were on the platform, but it really was a new thing, and that gave me a lot of hope too. But that many people would lean into something that's new. There's a bit of a risk there, but on the other side of that was just this really incredible night. And I think now, like, hopefully this amazing future of being able to keep doing that, keep bringing new music and new people, and to watch all of the good that God's going to do through it.
You got lots of new songs, but there's also been some nostalgic songs, ones that you've released before in different formats and contexts. How did it come about to go, let's do these ones again? Because some of them, we may not know them from you, but yet you were writers for them.
I mean, Live in Manila is really, it's a tour night, and these are songs that we would do on a tour night. Songs like Cornerstone, Mighty to Save, Who You Say I Am, Beautiful Name, and others, and so that whole situation really was just a mini tour through Asia, and it just became such a moment. We wanted to capture it, so it was sort of deliberate, but it was sort of not at the same time. It was
I was going to ask you, how did it come about, Live in Manila?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had the opportunity to go to the Philippines, and like we've always loved the Philippines. I think it's this sort of combination of the passion of the people. Like whenever we go there, it's like just they blow you away with how loud they sing, how enthusiastic they are. And so the chance to get back there felt like it was a pretty easy yes.
Nice.
And so then we were like, well, we're going to be there. Let's make sure that we've, we want to capture the night. Like we want people to be able to see it back home, but the idea of actually like taking that recording didn't really come till after, where we kind of, there's something special happened on those nights, and we want to be able to kind of give that back to the world. And then, the songs that we did on that night, there's songs, most of them, in fact, maybe all of them were songs that we've had a hand in writing. And so those songs feel really special to us as individuals, because in some ways, like, your songs are a little bit like your children, in the sense that there's a lot of you that's gone into them. And so, watch those songs get recorded by lots of different people over the years, and to hear the stories come in, you realize that those songs at the same time go out and do really personal things in the lives of people that mean that that's not just my song. And they were always intended to do that. There was always an intention to have an open hand and let God kind of go and do what he was going to do with them. But there's still that really deep personal connection that you have. And so as a songwriter, the opportunity to be able to sing those songs in that environment felt incredibly personally special.
So good.
And then, to have so many people, beautiful people, singing those back at you louder than I could sing, even with the microphone, singing them back at you is just like, it's really, it's an amazing experience.
It was an amazing experience, and it felt like it was worth capturing. It's just really special worship moment.
We got to see a little bit of the capture, and I have some questions, because I'm like, you haven't toured in a long time, but then you come to this night. What was the expectations? The crowd is in it. You can hear them. You're about to go on stage. Are you peeking through the curtain? How are you feeling right before you're about to? You've done all the rehearsals. You've prepped. Now it's like, okay, God, open hands. It's now all you.
Totally.
What was your feelings before you got up and worshipped?
It's so interesting because I think you mentioned it before, but is it like riding a bike? Like once you're there, is it just like, you're just in the flow again? And I mean, there was something about it that felt really new and really fresh, but at the same time, okay, here we are. This is what, like, I feel like was one of the reasons I was born, is to help people worship. And so it felt familiar, and it just felt like all the right things, which is great. And then we've been leading in our local churches and things like that. And so there is a there is something about that experience that also translates to kind of, the bigger kind of arena experience as well, where you're in a moment in worship and you're just, helping people connect with God.
What was it like walking back on stage in that type of arena to lead worship for thousands of people? What did that feel like?
Well, I think like going through the season that we had, you do ask questions like, what's next? What is God going to do next? And is it going to look like what we've known? And in a lot of ways, no, it isn't. And then to walk up on stage and, plug in and walk up to the microphone and start singing Cornerstone, it was like okay, cool.
Yeah.
Amazing that we're still here and we're gonna keep doing this, and it's always been about trusting the Lord and what He's got next. Haven't really been about it for anything else, and so it is just that question: God, what's next? And we're going after what You have, and those worship nights in Manila specifically were just felt like a kind answer to prayer,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it really has to be His will, not mine. It's like
Yeah.
it's you've given us these the visions and the heart and the desires for it.
Yeah.
But God, it's like it's the letting go which feels kind of like you're jumping off the edge almost.
And you can push and you can rage and you can do all of those things, but ultimately, I think things change for you when you say it like, God, I'm following You. And so He's like, okay, if that's what's happening, then all of these other options are cut off now, and we're going to do it like this. And I think that, like Bible talks about when you scatter seed, when you sow, and going out in the field and like with weeping, sow with weeping, and you come home reaping with joy, with songs of joy. And I think the reality for all of us in and out of season is you scatter with tears.
Yeah.
But the reality, the fields will sing. There will be reaping, and we've just got to keep holding on to those promises.
That's pretty awesome, man.
That's so good.
It's great.
I'm just taking that in. Yes, I have to know the words. That's not normal, but that's beautiful. One of the moments in worship from the night, Still, when you did Still and beautiful Bella sang and led that with you guys. There's a moment there at the end of when she finishes singing and you encourage the congregation around that it's going to be okay. Whatever you're going through, whatever your challenges, wherever you see yourselves, it's going to be okay.
Okay.
How did you feel in that moment? Were you almost talking to yourself as well in that whole, that whole night?
Yeah, there is definitely that side of it when you're praying, and like but also just a sense that, especially with that song, we've just had so many stories and emails over the years.
Wow.
Just that song particularly, just carrying people through really, really tragic situations and hard times, and in all kinds of contexts. I mean, just incredible. And you don't know what songs are going to do that. You really don't. Like, I think, big picture, you try to be faithful with what you've been given and do kind of the work you're being given. And you watch God just like put His hand on certain things, and like Still almost just seems like it's just had this mission to carry people through really like real seasons. And so even in that moment, it just felt like, just that encouragement, it's going to be okay, because you just know in God it is.
People turn to faith in crisis.
Yeah.
A lot of people turn to God, even perhaps when they haven't before. And that if our music can help people in their curiosity about who God is, hopefully they're talking really plainly and they help paint the picture of an aspect of God that is really reassuring, that's eye-opening, and that just helps them to take the next step in their faith journey to one thing that I've found as a Christian is the more you dig in to the character of God, the more you find beauty, you find infinite, whatever it is. If it's grace, you dig, you keep finding infinite grace. If it's love, you keep finding infinite love. You'll never be disappointed in the character of God. And hopefully our songs can just help point people to different aspects of who he is. And then my encouragement would be to just keep going, keep digging, keep trying to discover more of who he is, because you will not be disappointed.
How does someone practically do that?
I think it's really important to get yourself a Bible if you don't have one. It's a great starting point. Go and read the Gospels. Start at Matthew. Read about the life of Jesus, about who he was, the way that he took on what it was to be God. That's a great picture of who God is and what his kingdom looks like. In other words, when he exercises his power, what does that look like on earth? And then I'd encourage you to find other people that you can talk to, find a community. I mean, churches are full of people who believe in Christ.
Yes.
And go and talk to them. You'll be like absolutely surprised, perhaps, at just how open people are to helping you in your faith journey, because we've all been there. Like, and we've all had questions that we needed somebody else to help us answer or point us towards the right places to find those answers. So get yourself a Bible and find some people to talk to.
I love that you also you've had Bella on the journey, and you've been writing with her.
She's
singing.
amazing.
She's incredible.
Yeah.
I love that you chose her to sing still, because when it started, she starts singing, and when someone is anointed for such a time as this, and you immediately, it's not about the person, you're literally connecting. It's the lift your gaze moment.
Yeah.
What has it been like working with Bella?
Just with that song particularly, I mean, I'm sure there's sort of a broader answer, but I just can't believe like what she brought to that song.
Totally.
Like listening to it is
That's
just
stunning.
So beautiful.
oh man, you know, just something fresh and new, and man, I just feel absolutely privileged that she would be part of it, you know, and I feel like having her lead that song is a gift for all of us, you know.
Yes.
In a new way.
I love you use the word fresh, because hearing some of those songs that we know so well, they do sound different. There's a new life to them, that maybe a new revelation. You're further along down the road now. You guys have grown, you've matured, you've seen God do amazing things. You're bringing that perspective to something that was, I guess, your OG babies, if we're honest. Like they're your original babies that you created and crafted. How do you go about picking that back up again to bring that new life when that set a tone for that period, which is quite different to now?
Well, it's funny because I think the songs, you record them at a period of time, but then you keep singing them. So we've been singing these songs for years and years and years, and they change a little bit, the way you present them over time. And, I think back to some of those original recordings. And so often we were introducing them for the first time as we recorded them. So you'd stand up there and you'd sing like Cornerstone, and everybody's kind of just looking back, like, and they're trying to learn and sing it as we're recording the song. But now to be able to capture a song like that, like after so many years, where those songs, as we've been talking about, it's not teaching people a new song, but people have their own story about what that song has meant. And Still's another example. And, a lot of people would have a story about how that song's carried them through. So for me, it was super special because you're now capturing that. You're capturing all the stories that have now been written subsequent to that initial capturing of the song for the first time. And I think that there's something about that hopefully gets captured in Live in Manila, where this is now years of stories that have gone into creating what happened on that night.
We're talking about those stories and that impact, and immediately my mind goes to my personal connection to Lord, I Give You My Heart. Yeah. Because I came to Jesus from that song. And I remember doing the declaration at church, and you're just sharing like, hey guys, he's mine. I'm saying yes to him. It came from that song. And when I listened to it the other day in a new light, it was just like goosebumps of nostalgia, but goosebumps of new revelation, because those words actually mean something so different now, years along down the track. Is there a hope that you would have for these songs, the old and the new, as they land in churches and people's homes and people's bedrooms and people's cars? What would you have for those?
That's an amazing story, by the way. That's just incredible, and proper like privilege to be part of that.
Yeah.
I think there are certain songs that have like a season attached to them. Okay, that's this season, maybe it's 6 months, or you sing it for a few weeks in church and that's it. And there are other songs that for some reason just seem to just keep going. They just ride the seasons out. And I guess time has proven, and songs like Lord, I Give You My Heart are those kind of songs. Still hear from people that they do the song every week after their message or whatever. So it's what it is. And I think the prayer would be that these songs would bring fresh life again, like to worship services and all over the place. So yeah, same heart.
I was going to say that there's, we're in a world where it's completely different to where we were 20, 25 years ago. And these songs are going to impact and reach people where we never thought we could impact them.
Yeah.
What would you say is your hope that people would take these songs in a fresh way or new eyes as they step forward in the world that we are in now?
Yeah, I think that the message stays the same. So if we think about still, and again, this is just the grace of God when you reflect on it, because that song has been a gift for so many years. But I think about re-releasing that song right now at the end of 2025 with all that's happening in the world. Yeah. And you go, man, that feels like a pretty timely thing to sing again. And so you realize that, again, like he's writing his story and he's using the things that he has at his disposal to help people. And that really is the heart behind what we're doing. We want to help people connect with their creator and to worship their creator. And as long as we're putting language and we're putting music in front of people, that would be the hope.
Yeah.
And I don't think it gets too much more complicated than that. And, I think about our sense of passion and responsibility for worship teams and for worship leaders. And we talk all the time when we're writing a song, we're trying to finish a song off going, is this a gift to a worship leader? Is this going to help them and do their job and to feel like their job is easy? Because, we know, like, you can take songs that we've written and they're harder to lead.
Yeah.
And some of them are a lot easier to lead. And we want to write those kind of songs that makes a worship leader feel like they're actually really good at their job, because it's not always easy to try to lead a room full of people at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And so hopefully some of the songs that we're writing can help. They make it easy for the church to sing.
I love that there's the practicality of how we do songs and how we do worship, but then there's the spiritual side of things of let's take this, hand it to God and go use us for the extension of your kingdom. I think that's been, growing up, that was my prayer all the time. That's how my parents taught me how to pray. So it's so beautiful that we're looking at what it is now, Commons, and the offerings and the songs and the music and the revelations that is about to be spread or has already started because you've released songs already. But now this next project of the visual element is actually going to really help connect people with Jesus in a whole new way.
Hopefully it's the sort of project that you can kind of put on and listen to for, years. And hopefully it transports you to that place where there's, thousands of people coming together in agreement. I looked around that room and it was quite a moving moment where I was like, wow, like, look at like the different generations. There were like young people, there were older people, there was everything in between. There's people from the Philippines, obviously, but there's people from right across Asia. There's people from Australasia. And I'm standing there just going, different countries, different ages, different parts of the church, all in the same room, singing the same thing and believing it as true as the person next to us, and just going, wow, that is something that's really unique about our faith and really unique in human experience. To have that degree of difference of context, but that degree of commonality.
As people come together for like how they did for Manila, it's that catch and release thought of they come together, they worship, and then they disperse and they go out to their different communities. What do you hope for those people as they go out into their areas of influence, into their spheres of life?
Yeah, I mean, worship's transformational, isn't it? You're not just when you encounter God, it's not just a feeling, right? Like it's not just a great experience. God really speaks to us. He creates in us. He inspires us. He gives us new vision. And so you believe that people, when they leave that event, or when after they've sort of been in a worship experience with these songs or whatever else, that they bring something fresh. They bring the light of the Holy Spirit of the Lord into their situation. And I know that for me, when I'm like in worship, or when I'm listening to worship songs, is that it's not about the song so much as it is about connecting with the Lord and what He does, and He changes our lives. He empowers us, He strengthens us, and He gives us what we need for whatever's next.
Speaking of next, what is stirring up? What are your dreams and passions for? What's coming next?
Well, we have a project that we've been working on in the background that is in a much smaller chapel environment. So we're super excited about that. So that's maybe early next year, 2026. And then just lots of new songs. And so we're well and truly in the middle of writing and collaborating. We've got some really exciting collaborations coming up as well. And I think, the commitment to making sure that we're creating space for new songs, for new people. And I think if we're doing that well into next year, there's going to be plenty to talk about.
Ben, Reuben, thank you so much for your time today, bit of insight into your journey and your honesty and your vulnerability in that. And we'll be praying for you and Commons and what's next and what God has in store. And we're just believing that what is coming out of Commons is going to lead more and more people to a deeper intimacy with Christ.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.